Maria, for coming and joining us here today.
This is such a fun sport to play, and regardless what happens in the future, whether you continue to play tennis or not, one advice that I got when I was very young is that you have to commit yourself to whatever you do in life, whether it's your homework or whether it's practicing out on the court. Being on that arena over there is very special, and I hope that many of you get to experience that one day.
We see a lot of stories of young tennis players, the childhood prodigy, that sort of thing, and sometimes it doesn't work out so well. Why, in your case, do you think it has come together very well and you're still a great success story?
I think a lot of luck, honestly. For all the successful stories there are, whether it's tennis or other sports, I think people forget to look at the millions of other stories that don't come through. You go to so many academies in the United States right now, and they're like factories. I mean, everyone's hitting ball after ball after ball and working 6 hours a day, and it looks amazing from the outside, but sometimes you look at it and you say, where is the quality in the work that people are doing? That gets lost a little bit, and I think that's where talent loses its momentum.
What advice would you have for a talented young 10, 11, 12-year-old who really wants to play professional tennis? What would you say to her?
I think at that point, when someone wants something so much, there's not a lot that you're going to tell them which will maybe stop them, or if you feel like they don't have enough potential. I think it's more about being realistic with the parents, and the parents having a realistic vision about their kid's career. Sometimes the parents see a lot of potential in their kid, but sometimes don't have enough money, which is, a huge key in this sport because it's extremely expensive to raise a prodigy up from nothing. Getting that financial help, but also realizing if your kid is not good enough to let it go. That's such a tough decision, and I honestly think that's why part of our success was because I don't think my parents ever were afraid to go back to Russia and go back to their normal life. They never saw it as a failure.
Things did work out pretty well. You went on to win the U.S. Open in 2006, the Australian Open in 2008, right. And you really on a high, obviously. But then you came into some injury trouble with your shoulder. What was it like to have those phenomenal Grand Slam victories and then to be sort of knocked back a bit with the injury?
It came a point in my career where I started getting pain in my shoulder. I was unfortunately misdiagnosed, and then played with the pain for maybe 5-6 months, where I probably shouldn't have. I made it worse. I got a tear, had to do surgery, and it took a year, without playing for me to come back. And I think that the toughest part about that whole time was the fact that I didn't really have too many people to look to see who has come back from shoulder surgery. There weren't many at all. Right. And that was tough because you always look towards those little things that might give you a great perspective, and I could never find that.
Well, you have come back, and this year marked a big triumph for you, completing the career Grand Slam, winning the French Open in Paris this year. Was that what went through your mind when you won?
Yeah, it was a really sweet victory. I always, doing interviews, I always say, well, winning Wimbledon at 17, it's like, what can be more special than that? It was so unexpected. I was so young. I had worked, but I never thought that I would be able to achieve that. That moment was incredible, and beating Serena Williams in the final, who was defending champion. There's so many pluses about that victory, but I finished my last point at the French Open this year, and I was down on my knees, and I was holding the trophy, and I was looking around me, and I was like, this is pretty special. I might have to rethink about my next answers about what's my sweetest moment, because this is really, really special. And the fact that it was the Grand Slam that I think no one really expected me to do well at. I mean, let alone win it. So it was really, really special. And coming from the injury and it being the first Grand Slam that I won, that I had never won, I could talk about it on and on.